And for those who are actually not in here and then fail to scan, I'm not going to help you lah because sometimes problem regarding this, yeah, the system. So by hook or by crook, I'm going to flash again your attendance punya attendance punya QR code, and then you wait for those who are actually failed to scan in the first place. So you're able to scan it at the end of the class, yeah. For those out from my class, this one, for today class, I'm going to deduct your mark. So many people out, left, yeah. You just kata snap the thing, the attendant, and then you go away. Yeah, you left. Tak boleh, ya. You guys got the record here for those in and out. Okay, transportation in halal perspective. Yeah, this one is the final chapter. Yeah, for just newly coming. Yeah, and then this one is part of the important subject lah for you to understand. Yeah, because one of these day maybe you are actually appointed to be one of the executive in halal logistic transporter in haulage in trucking industry. Yeah, so even though if they on is related to other mode of transport as well. Yeah. But we are now focusing on road transport, where actually what are actually people doing, yeah, when they are actually dealing with halal transportation, yeah. So you have to understand what is the halal concept. So halal is the word Muslim lah, yeah. Muslim word halal lah. Halal is from Arabic. Dia kata meaning lawful and permitted. Ya. Artinya sah lah di sisi undang-undang Islam, ya. Halal, ya. So this is very important. And then for those non-Muslim, you just listen. One of these days, maybe you are doing halal product, so you have to be careful and dealing with halal product to make sure that end product will receive this with the good, with effective manner and safe manner lah, as required by the law in Islam. Yeah. And then in reference to foods and the dietary standard and prescribed in Al-Quran and Muslim scripture, yeah, because that one already. Number one, number two, halal. The opposite is haram. Haram which means unlawful. That means prohibited. Halal, haram, usual term apply to all facets of life. This commonly retain a few of foods, products, yeah, meat product, cosmetic, personal care product, pharmaceutical, food ingredient, and food contract material. Yeah. So all foods, and then to be used by the Muslim need to be halal. For those non-Muslim, you are actually dealing with Muslim. For example, food and so on, we have to follow the processes that uh, uh, as required by the Jakim lah. Non-halal or haram, there are something we are not clear, such as pork, babi, anjing, alcohol, yeah, drink, such as often referred to masbuh, which is doubtful and questionable. This one non-Muslim cannot take lah, yeah. So can handle lah for non-Muslim, for Muslim one, yeah. Muslim can handle, non-Muslim can handle, yeah. So other definition of halal food is actually from Quran and Hadith, yeah. They say that free from component that Muslim are prohibited from consuming according to the Islamic law. Yeah? So you cannot take in Muslim, yeah. Non-Muslim can take, but Muslim cannot take sometimes. And then processed meat produced, manufactured, or stored using utensil, equipment, machinery, or vehicle that have been cleaned, yeah, according to Islamic law. How to clean, what to clean. So I'm going to give you the detail after this slide. Okay, what else you have? They get the non-halal product. they got about 15 non-halal product that we have to take into consideration. Even Muslim or non-Muslim have to take this note. Yeah. Number one is alcohol. Alcohol drink. Yeah. Liquor, beer. That one is non-halal lah. Yeah. Uh, non-halal animal or fat. Halal animal or fat. Macam babi, pork, anjing and so on and so forth. That one is non-halal animal. Enzyme, microbial enzyme and permissible. Enzyme ni gelatin, gelatin from non-halal source. Gelatin in fish gelatin is halal. Kalau gelatin for non-halal is non-halal lah. L-cytine, human hair. If human hair, human hair cannot use. Yeah, tak boleh. Lats, lipase, animal, non-halal shortening, pork, bacon, ham, anything that pig and dog, unspecified meat, both, broads, then recent, ni macam stock, telur, that one something that word that I don't know lah, what is that, one is halal lah. And then some, they are actually packed inside the wrap, they wrote this one, through the symbol. And then we have to know lah, at least Islam, Muslim, we have to know the content of the wrap, pasal packaging that is supposed to know that thing. This, yeah. And then what's L? Halal is lawful, allowable are all object or activities they are allowed to be used to carry out in religion of Islam. In terms of everyday vocabulary, more than use, they note that food and drink are allowed to be consumed by Muslims. Yeah. They kata halal is bring the goods, consumer product, food, drink, only lawful and must be clean, whether consumable or not, useful health. Halal Jabatan Kemajuan Islam Malaysia. JAKIM. Recognize Sharia compliance, produce, processes, manufacturing, carrying, storing, transporting until final destination in its custom. Recognition system discover of the release no raw material selection until the final product hands of users. In the process of recognition, food must be also declared all processes and raw material in detail involved from beginning until end of customer. Okay, itulah terminology on halal. Okay, what else? Halal and haram. Halal prohibited lah, prohibited. Yeah. Food containing ingredients such as gelatin, enzymes, emulsifiers, flavors, questionable. Flavors are questionable because the origin of this ingredient is unknown. Anything that unknown is haram. In the meat, poultry, and food industry, animal as cow, whale, lamb, sheep, goat, turkey, chicken, duck, game, bird, bison, venison are considered halal. Okay, they must be prepared according to Islamic law in order for their meat to be suitable for consumption. Fish and seafoods. Within acceptable of crocodile, alligators, and frog are generally acceptable for Muslim, but always check first as they are mere personal dietary preference of knowledge. Alligator. Alligator is haram lah. Frog is haram lah in Muslim kan. Yeah. So cannot that. But they can carry, but they cannot eat. Cannot be eaten lah. The preparation of fish, seafood will include alcohol. Alcohol, drink water, wine, whiskey, and so on. That one is halal. Okay. So under recognition for foreign halal certification bodies, that means when you deal with foreigners, and then the foreigners should get this approval from JAKIM Malaysia. For example, you want to import beef, meat from India, from Australia, from other countries who are actually selling and export to Malaysia, they must get approval from the JAKIM under FSCB, recognitions of foreign halal certification bodies. And then when it's sent to Malaysia for import, for example, they got logo there, halal. Therefore, JAKIM play important role to protect Muslim consumer in Malaysia. Always been JAKIM responsibility to ensure them apply for halal product assured by Sharia. The purpose of halal certification, JAKIM has sustained the halal status. The product every stage, every process involved by carrying out of official site inspection, plan purposely of examining how halal status raw material is maintained and monitored all the time. JAKIM requires reputable and credible halal certification bodies, and JAKIM monitors and verifies halal status and this raw material product with responsibility and integrity. The recognition is based on capability of foreign halal certificate bodies comply with mission according to procedure. That one kalau you deal with foreigners. Kalau internally nanti kita akan kita what are the processes ya. So what are halal transportation? Talking about halal Okay, halal transportation in Malaysia they kata refer to trucking. Trucking, your day-to-day activities, food grabs, anything that contain and carries halal goods from place or from industry manufacturers to the final end of customer this one is our responsibility as a truckers The halal transport is actually served their client according to Sharia regulation formulated by the JAKIM. The halal movement actually using the mode of transport is related with humans or activities through productions, trading, transportation, distribution, exchanges, business and consumption of goods and services for specific assignment. Yes. So which therefore from A to B, that one is the processes as set by the JAKIM. And the road transport is considered the first mobility type of road transport refer modes such as roads, rail, sea, and transport and pipeline. And then road transport is playing the important role. The first mover is road transport, and then they are actually connecting to other mode as well. And then other modes such as rail, sea, air transport, and pipeline are actually dealing with halal also by the JAKIM. They got the cell, they are actually monitoring on the halal process. The chapter cover on the activity halal basis includes three components. Number one is vehicle, number two infrastructure, number three is operational activity. In a vehicle, such as machinery that we have, trucking, cargo, and then open trucking, bonded, grab, so everything that related to the movement of goods from place to another. And then they need the preparations of the halal requirement. How to prepare, we're going to discuss later. Number B, infrastructure, such as building, ramp, guards, warehouse, store, lifting, equipment, and handling halal goods. This one is infrastructure. Okay. And then the operation, normal operation that we done, like other normal operational activities in these organizations, such as process handling movement of halal goods, include planning and then assigning people involved with customer demand and so on and so forth. They are actually three things involved in halal transportation: vehicle, infrastructure, and operation. Okay. What else? As dikata sini, JAKIM 2004 suggests six transport operators are planning transport need to adhere instruction by the Sharia law. The six elements supposed to be practiced by transporters when dealing with halal goods or halal products. Number one, all goods shall be only halal product. Halal, kita tak boleh transport lah. Okay. B, kata having effective halal detection system such as letters records and its movement. Dia ada detection system, controlling movement, macam system lah data. This one is halal, this one is non halal. Most of the company that are using system to monitor this halal product. Even non-Muslim company also they are actually monitoring the halal product. You can. Non-Muslim punya company also can handle this halal product. You have to follow the procedure as set by the JAKIM. Shall establish all halal assurance system and specific rule by the workers and implement on GSP goods apa produk ni. And then transport dark pool had halal status mandatory undergoes a through. So through mean ritual cleanse. Ritual cleanse before halal goods are stored. And then the cleaning process I'm going to explain later. Yeah. And then number 5, have a good control storage temperature suitable for transporting halal goods. For example, when you store in the warehouse, there must be a cool room there and then set temperature. We set below than 15, make sure that required below than 15 centigrade. Uh, if more than that, we scared that even that one is halal food, but that one cannot be used anymore, become haram already, right? And then even you transport it on wheel, for example, using container, container must be used might use the refrigerator container, container ice, what you call it, no? For meats, for anything that easy to rotten. Okay. F, halal products shall be segregated according to categories such as dry and wet. You put in the warehouse or into the container, there must be there should be separated lah from dry and wet to avoid the water and coming and destroy the dry product. This one is very important. If combined, so cannot that one cannot be used anymore. Become cannot be used. Yeah. Okay. Halal transport and connection. Halal transport refer to halal goods with trained personnel and dedicated vehicle. Jadi train personal ni pun the personnel who actually drive a vehicle need to be trained by the training providers or organization itself. Yeah? And then you need to have at least a dedicated vehicle, spare vehicle special for that particular movement. Yeah? Vehicle are required to proper cleaning procedures such as check, safe, or the moment. All halal goods should be prepared, processed, packaged, transported, and stored in such manner and common with the Sharia law. Halal transport involves process managing the vehicle, people, material, information flow throughout the supply chain according to the prescribed law. The accepted halal standard in transport is normally connected with the 5 mode of transport: road, rail, sea, and pipeline, through specific operations and infrastructure. The infrastructure was developed by the government or private entity to facilitate this purpose. The operational procedures and system were designed into movement transport, such as scheduling, planning, were established by the control of specific activities as monitored by the JAKIM Inspectorate. Okay. What else? Dia kata, the transport business halal including container haulage, trucking, cargo, lorry, van, pickup, bonded, lorries, and aircraft. And then halal movement include terminal bidding, loading facilities, equipment, tools, specialists. Yeah, this one need to be endorsed. Yeah, by the JAKIM also lah. For example, in transport company we have infrastructure lah. This one infrastructure lah. Terminal, loading. There must be clean. They must be monitored, safe, yeah, and they're monitored by, approved by the JAKIM, yeah. And then the similar process involve their mode of transport, actually roads, rail, sea, and pipeline. Transport halal goods such as palm oil, halal chemical, coconut oil, gray, and so on. And then flow and swim, sometimes using pipeline, yeah. This one need to be endorsed by the JAKIM. All right. Kalau minyak makan, export, other than diesel and petrol kan, so need to be. And then when you go to the port, they got one pipeline, coconut oil, water, grain, using pipeline, yeah. So this one food product, so need to be checked by the JAKIM. Yeah? Even they're using pipeline. Okay, what else? Dia kata type of vehicle transport halal product, dia kata bicycle, pickup, van, small, bonded, semi, heavy, open truck, semi container, special tracking. Ada yang listed before and ada yang tak listed ya. So you, oh sorry, mana tadi? Okay. Okay, next, the most important one is the preparation of halal vehicle. Halal vehicle need to be prepared accordingly. As what you see on the road now, you can see this one is halal, this one is non-halal, this one is normal transportation punya vehicle. Yeah, they got five things that required to be followed according to the JAKIM. Dia kata number one is labeling. Labeling logo halal measured by 210 feet and required to be placed at the right, left and right window. Really be seen by the public. Ada halal logo, chop there. If bonded vehicle, the position of the halal logo should be in the left or right bodies and also back the bodies selected vehicle. Kalau itu bonded, Okay, bonded apa? Bonded ni container lah. Container bonded and seal lah. Normal container, they got different dia punya type because they got the ni lah. Kalau container biasa is considered bonded, non-container pun can say bonded. Bonded mean refer to the thing that approved by the custom bonded. Yeah. Kalau container biasa, normal container, they approve or not approved by the custom. Yeah. That one is ISO container. Number one. Number two is non-smoking sign need to be there. Make sure that even though you are actually handling for benda yang tak terbakar, non-flammable. But when you carry this halal food, there is no driver should be selected for non-smoker drivers lah. And then should be signed there place to make sure that we are actually the process of clean. Yeah. And then number three, clean all the vehicle with dust. That's garbage, chemical, water in 7 times. 7 kali basuh. You plan the vehicle had to be swept, clean, and then it had to be washed accordingly using earth, tanah, and then 7 times. So make sure they're clean. And then number 4, fogging or spray and avoid any bacteria, chemical, particle impacted in human body. Ada kuman dan sebagainya, you have to make sure that this one is doing fogging and spray. And number 5 is no smell, unhealthy thing in the commitment when the vehicle pallets and covers. Make sure this 5 vehicle need to be doing prior you transporting good. Oh, ada continue lagi lah. Ada 10 I think. And then having good ventilations, especially moving item, handle with tracking and vehicle. Dia tak boleh tertutup. Ventilation. Is in the container itself to make sure that if container bringing foods, carrying foods, veggie and so on and so forth need to be ventilized or refrigerated container. Container ice, macam ice cream tu kan. So that. And vehicle is mechanically fit on the roads and is settled by Puspakong. Tak boleh berhenti tengah jalan because when you delay that thing become rotten, you can unused anymore. Basi dan sebagainya. Company, registration and contact numbers at the body of the vehicle. Anything went wrong, this one is contactable. So if public want to complain regarding bringing the halal goods, product and so on, public also can complain. And driver equipment such as glove, uniform, vest, safety supply, vehicle tool and handling material will be there also. And then preparation anti-rodents, chemical, for example, mouse, rat, squirrel, mammoths, dan sebagainya. Fire extinguisher will be there and also vehicle tool. Halal transport policy by JAKIM and the company need to be there. Permits, vehicle permit, insurance vehicle and cargo insurance need to be there. Sometimes you got an accident, and then cargo insurance will cover. Cargo vehicle also can cover. Vehicle permit is vehicle for transporting halal good lah. Same lah, like one permit. eh. The only thing that the vehicle is additional permit from the JAKIM lah. And then the final one is other vehicle signages such as instructed by regulatory body. So you can see here, the position of the logo to be embedded or to be placed in the bodies and containers of the vehicle. When you transporting 40-footer container like this one, the position like this, so can clearly seen by the public. If anything went wrong, public can also lodge a complaint to JAKIM and to the company itself. Company logo, registration company, kilometeran here, halal logo, non-smoking, fire extinguishers, KA, container A lah. This one is permit. Okay. And then vehicle capacity is also show there, and then regulatory status also can show. This one is you get it. Balance. All right. So what else? So how to clean vehicle? How vehicle cleaning and preparation. The basic cleaning method and activities, the ability of the method are as follow. Look at the high pressure water pipe and hoses. Mesti ada. Number one. Number two, detergents, halal chemical mixing. Use dust, earth, sand, clean 7 times. Right? Number four, broom and cleaning equipment. Number five, vacuum cleaner and air compressors, fogging, dry activities, pest control materials, special parking, place cleaning and inspection purpose. And then the last one, they got the mechanical check according to safety standard by the mechanic. All right, this one is the process of cleaning. As similar as we clean our car, but the only thing that you have to use dust. This one is for a beginning part of it. The part preparation, you have to, after second or third, no need to do this anymore. Right? Okay. What to check as what we studied in previous, in mechanical, automotive, and so on. We got several things need to be checked according to the form that given by the authorities and the companies for the mechanic and driver to check to make sure that when you transport the halal good, to make sure that there is no hassle, barriers, or stoppages, right? And then to make sure that you send the vehicle on time as required by the customer. If delay, maybe become rotten, unused, and then cannot be sold to public because of the delay. Right? It's very important. So your responsibility is to check all these requirements to make sure they are actually fit on the road, can be used as indicated primer works or trailers to be moved and carried the halal goods. Okay. Infrastructure. Infrastructure tadi kan. So infrastructure including warehouse, parking place, cross-docking activities, container yard, cleaning areas, loading bay, ramp, and so on need to be, all yang orang kata, proper monitor. Kalau parking place, use tarmac, concrete, gravel, slabstone, crusheran, racking, interlocking, avoid soggy. Soggy ni banjir, becak, free from floods, mosquito, animal, and appropriate fencing. Kena ada pagar, fencing that thing. And then cleaning area, dedicated area parking place equipped with the cleaning facilities. Kena ada motor, hose, high pressure water, and so on. And then number three, kata yard mesti ada storing clean, laden, unladen containers. The dedicated area for halal product should be free from all disturbance. Binatang, babi, anjing, dog, lagi apa, tikus, rodent, cacing, ular, and so on and so forth, you have to clean. So loading bay and ramp, special place dedicated for halal product with security control. Another bay, special. Maybe temporary fencing also there, but need to be controlled by security guard. This one is halal. And then continue one. This one is terminal. Terminal kalau rail, air, sea transport, they got a terminal halal. To make sure that when you go seaport also, you got terminal halal in preparing halal product at one particular time. They got place, yeah. They got prime mover halal, dedicated area lah that particular place to make sure that the good are actually safe to be transported. And then from port to the various destination customer using prime mover, our job is actually, and then we dedicated our prime movers and so on, prime movers and machinery to transport goods to the final destination. Halal also, yeah. And then they got should provide ample parking place, waiting place, loading, unloading activities. Other supporting machines should be available in this place, such as forklift, heavy lift equipment, conveyor, shunting activity. Shunting ni you pull for the shortest, you pull the trailers, yeah, short distance one, within a few hundred meters only, shunting. Maybe they want to store, they want to do layout, yeah, make sure they are grouped inside in that particular area, something lah from that point. And then kalau ada break bulk activities to make sure that person in charge know how to handle the halal product. There must be a procedure there. Break bulk kan, pecah tukar break bulk, and then to make sure that normally they are not combined haram and halal lah. Halal, if halal, break bulk need to be halal, proper carrying, cleaning, yeah. And then the personality for people doing stuffing and stuffing, so need to be clean lah, halal lah. Bukan main-main kotor dan sebagainya. Special education for halal terminal and machine should be available. And then the last one is warehousing. Warehousing is for storing, planning, distributing activities, palleting, and stuffing. All modes such as air, rail, pipeline, depot pipeline should be equipped by storing of halal products such as tupajak. And normal kat road transport, normally they use warehousing for the break bulk activities, import, export activities, and then doing racking, and then doing stuffing, and then sometimes need to store in the refrigerated cold room lah in the warehouse. Need to be monitored and checked also by the parties or the person in charge on that halal product at one particular time. Yeah. And then other than that, this one is very important. Yeah. Drivers. Driver is very important because drivers is the closest, yeah, to the goods and to the people and to the customer also. Yeah. The most important thing that drivers need to be have sense of responsibility. Yeah. Sense of responsibility. And then of course before that need to be trained lah by the halal lah. Lepas train, they kena ada sense as responsibility. They are the knowledge, safety, customer areas, goods to be carried and so on. Make sure that they are actually focused on halal product. Number one. Number two, alertness. They kata alert time provide a driving process, driving condition able to handle the best assignment. Easy. Orang kata tidak tergesa-gesa, orang kata tidak terlalu cepat buat, sebabkan accident and so on. And then to make sure that they send to the end product with GIT concept lah, just in time, to avoid any rodent damage, basi dan sebagainya, all those things. Yeah. And then ability of work independently, and you can work without minimum supervision. When you're tasked to transport the product, to make sure that you carry it accordingly, yeah, Sharia law. And then the characteristic of drivers is very important because they also need to understand the whole concept of halal product. Kena bersih, tidak merokok dan sebagainya. To make sure that they are actually less complained by the customer. If you are smoker, you cannot. If you smoker, you cannot drive this halal food. Kalau you smoker also, you have to hide to make sure they cannot smoke openly, because you are actually dealing with halal product. Because third party will complain against your company, right? And then number 4, dia kata a good driving records, ya, pemandu yang baik lah, able to control, able to monitor the freight, the goods, halal, ya. And then you need to have at least cost effectiveness, ya. And then ada interpersonal skill yang baik lah in the operational activities. And then number 5, dia kata competence as customer service bagus. And then you need to communicate with the customer, ya. Kalau customer tu kilang, have to communicate. This one container sudah sampai, terima, ya, okay. This one everything good, ya. All those things, ya, customer service skill, when they discharge the job. You cannot just leave it there without any communication. We encourage to communicate with the customer. Just not just leave it there, because in Muslim we encourage people to talk each other. Dia kata macam hijab kabul lah. So when you send that thing to the client, make sure that this one is yours, everything there already, all safe area. This one is halal food and so on and so forth, all clear everything. There is no defect, dented, breakage, break and so on and so forth. Okay. And then customer will terima lah through a specific form that already used in that particular company. Knowledge technical aspect and knowledge how to do in case of medical fault, ya, kaya pancit dan sebagainya, all those things, ya. And then more little bit of technical lah, ya, regarding this repair, maintenance, and using with appropriate tool that's available in the vehicle. Alright. What else? Dia kata repair and maintenance skill, ya, kena ada, ya. And then good health, ya, tidak sakit, semput dan sebagainya. And then dia tidak stress, no stress. And then dia ada time, masa timeliness. Timeliness involved on GIT, especially when you take the vehicle, the good and so on, to make sure that you calculated how long does it take to travel that thing. Make sure that the goods reach final destination on time. Yang kena. Okay. And then number 5, dia kata handling policy and storage jakim. Yeah, before and after need to be briefed by the officer in charge. And then the policies to be placed in the cabin itself, dalam lori sekarang, dalam lori berkenaan, to make sure from time to time they can read. Sometimes they may forgotten. In the cabin itself, they got phone number, everything. If anything went wrong, okay. They are actually altogether 10 meter need to continue, need to be considered as a driver, ya. Okay, next chapter is actually the operational activities in halal transport. This one is day-to-day activities lah. Normally during my time, I practice this lah. We got lebih 10 matters need to be considered, ya. During the operation 11, ya, operational activities in halal transport are follows. They kata releasing the demand from customer. Customer order lah, number 1, customer deliver thing, and then the customer declare this one is halal product. Okay, number. And then our office pula, number B, dia kata assign driver and co-driver. If short distance, maybe no co-driver. If long distance, there must be a co-driver, ya. Which train with the halal product. Kalau tak train, janganlah. Even that one look very simple, carrying good kan. Tapi need to be trained also lah. Because we scared in future that people or public customer may complain. You are not handling with care, isap rokok, just park there, photo, and so forth. And then see assignment vehicle which had been cleaned, prepared according to Sharia. Tadi kan, bersihkan apa semua siap dengan tanah dan sebagainya. Make sure this vehicle are actually ready for the halal transport. 4, dia kata assign specific tool, machine and halal policy. Kita bagi tu machine. Kalau memerlukan machine, forklift dan sebagainya, can use lah. Alright. Kalau customer tak ada these facilities, we need to have at least loading and unloading equipment dekat customer places. Maybe ada ramp ataupun cross docking activities, boleh juga. E, dia kata obtain the load manifest and packing list from client. Client akan bagi, ini you akan bawa barang daging, ini you akan bawa barang sayur beku, sebagainya. Barang sejuk beku, so kalau kita bawa sejuk beku, and then in the main office dia akan beritahu in advance lah. So we have to prepare our refrigerator container dengan ais itu, bawa siap-siap. And then number 6, transport halal goods to destinations. Then transport halal goods to destination mean that all actually bodies are actually showing halal. Macam bodies kat transport tu, that's what we study before this slide. The logo, everything that must show. This one is halal for the purpose of public information lah. And then H, dia kata ensure safety of the good, alright. And then number 7, establish consignment and notes signed by the client. That's why need to be, orang kata, communication need to be there lah. So beside that, you got manifest there, you got consignment there, need to be signed by customer. Just say, kalau you are actually transporting good from the factory, and then end product, for example, dekat retail shop, supermarket and so on, you have to advise the supervisor there to accept whatever thing inside the container and so on, through the manifest given, sign. And then through communication lah, this one is halal, prima dan sebagainya. All those things need to be there lah. Number A, dia kata practice munakahah muamalat to Islamic term of business. Munakahah muamalat ni ialah business dalam Islam. Sama juga lah. We have to communicate to them. Kita bukan menipu punya orang and so on to ensure they are actually good. Good to everybody lah. Even your final end customer is Chinese or non-Muslim, Indian dan sebagainya. So you have to be good lah. Otherwise, so kalau non-Muslim as a transport driver also can, no problem. We had to follow the requirement as said by the Muslim. Okay. End of the assignment and reporting. Once benda tu sampai, reach to final destination, you have to set again to the system that you already reached there and report to the office to update the status, right? And then the final one, the company will bill the company through the agreement or agreed price as agreed before the performing job. Alright. Operation office pula dia apa pula? Dia akan duduk sini lah, di operation office. Dia kata the component of operation in halal transport are divided to 8 matters, 8 subjects. Number 1 is personal. Staff who are actually working day to day, your kerani, your supervisors, masuk you executive, examination. For example, managers, clerk, drivers, laborers, organizing the halal activities. Need to be trained ataupun equip the knowledge for the particular movement regarding the halal. Okay. Number 1. Number 2, vehicle need to spare or arrange for dedicated vehicle for that particular movement. It's very important. Dia kata tracking, car, containerized vehicle, bonded tracking, trailers, buses, car, conveyors, light, machine, and other dealing with halal product. Right? And then control office, you yourself, permanent place monitoring the movement of vehicle, good drivers, and all administrative and operation office should assign person in charge in halal movement. Kalau kita tak in charge keseluruhannya pun, we have to assign 1 or 2 clerk to monitor the movement to make sure that the vehicle are actually reach to the final destination on time. without any complaint by the customer, because they complain because of delay, misaddress, wrongly sent and so on. That one cost of the time. Yeah, maybe they can sell immediately because of the delay, wrongly send the thing to thing, and then the product become orang kata become rotten, delay, basi and so on, and then cost effect, and then will be claim the defect by the customer. Rugilah. Yeah. Okay. And then number 4, dia kata telecommunication. Sekarang ni pakai cellular, communicates, terus ni pakai radio set, and then system need to be there, upgrade, website, from time to time. This one is normally the biggest halal transportation semuanya company lah, normally do this. Kalau small one or two, maybe tak. Normally I work before is the biggest transportation company. They are actually dealing with halal product and so on. Okay, and then the rest they kata procedure, standard procedure need to be there, yeah. SOP from their game, SOP from company itself need to be understood by all parties, regardless you are working as an officers, non-officers, drivers, all those things need to be extended. Yeah. Okay. Need to be understood also lah from each party involved, in these activities. Number 7, dia kata cost, cost of transport movement, the tambang, set as required move our activities for business and non-business. For example, overhead cost, capital and others. Jadi every time we move the halal product are actually the same, as we move a normal product. The only thing that different handling, care is different lah. Kalau normal trade one, that one is not that serious lah. But transport halal, because halal is mainly for food, food dia mudah rosak. So which therefore you have to handle according to the requirement. You cannot delay all those things. If normal goods, they can be delayed, kan? Postpone little bit later, kan? But if the halal food, according to the time required by the customer, JIT lah. And then the last one, they kata halal policy obtained by JAKIM, mesti kan ada lah for this private organization. Okay, right. The halal transport process apa pula ni? Halal transport process, halal policy, halal transport planning. Tadi sudah bagi tahu 20 step. Halal policy need to be there. Halal transport planning is there. And then number 3, dia kata staff driver nominations need to be there. Driver preparation need there. Vehicle preparation need there. Cleaning process need to be there. All those things, Ada setengah kita dah discuss sebelum ni, So discuss back. Yard and parking management, ordering and demand process. Okay. And then last, dia kata vehicle assignment need to be there. Driver assignment, communication, ada 11 together. So all these things you have to go through and read whatever thing. Everything written in the book, Customer reception, terminal and warehousing, loading and unloading process and so on. Documentation, Documentation lah. Packing list, invoice, everything, right? Kalau you export, you are actually dealing with K1, KU, K3, that one, or bill heading, as instructed, Documentation lah. Handing over. Need communication lah. Handing over goods to clients, need communication. Okay, saya serah, saya beli, saya terima, and so on and so forth. Handing over. Driver report need to anything went wrong, damage kah, busuk kah, rotten, basi dan sebagainya, right? And then the final one is billing, and the final one is the security policy. Inilah requirement yang perlu ada, when we handling the halal product from place down there, to make sure that they are actually safe to be consumed. Customer happy, they can sell the product easily because time there, right? So, Macam kita transport limau mandarin lah kan. So you transport before Chinese New Year. 1 month before need to be reached here. So the importer, exporter need to plan 6 months before. Okay, what time. Sampai Malaysia saja can be sold immediately. Yeah. And then limau manis. Kat sana mungkin limau mentah. So all this you already plan. How many containers? Kalau sampai selepas Hari Raya Cina, kena be sold and more difficult. Ya. Jadi orang Cina pun tak suka. Dan sebagainya. Right? Okay. Okay, halal transport model. Kalau tengok ni pun, you dah boleh buat lah semua sekali ya. Dia kata halal transport, mesti halal policy by JAKIM and transport company. And then the right one, mesti ada safety and health policy. And then through down pula ada planning procedure, transport planning. And then on the left what, ada driving, driver preparation. And then on the right pula ada vehicle selection. Okay. Lepas tu ada staff. Staff mesti tahu what is halal product, through what knowledge that given to them, train ya. Itu juga driver need train. Then we have to nominate drivers who are trained with halal product. And then last kali kalau kita dapat ni, kita ada vehicle preparations. Ada 10 thing tu kan. Kena prepare basuh, cuci ya. Fogging, ada tempat dedicated area and so on. And then kata ada vehicle inspection. Inspection two things. Number one, inspection by regulatory body, inspection by the people is in charge with halal product, supervisors, clerk, right? Inspection. And then dia ada cleaning process. Tadi kan ada 10 item kena proses. And then dia ada yard, dia ada parking place dedicated for halal product. And then dia ada ordering pula. Kalau ordering, dia ada documentation. Ordering from the customer. And then ada vehicle assignment. Vehicle assignment with the driver punya fits to become vehicle drivers, right? We train halal product. And then when you send to the customer, we ada customer acceptance. Mesti ada communications, ijab dan kabul, for example. And then same goes to other mode of transport, right? Mesti ada ijab kabul. And then communication. Lepas customer acceptance, mesti ada documentation. Documentation, packing list, bill, manifest, invoice, and so on need to be signed by the customer. Customer need to accept the thing. Kalau tak accept, macam mana pula? Your driver need to go to the office and discuss office to office. And then terminal, warehouse need to be clean. And then need to have at least loading and unloading facilities, racking. Mesti ada maybe ada macam cool room for those who are import goods, meats, fruit and so on. Need to have cool room and so on. Kalau cool room ni macam mana temperature dia? So you have to look into it. Temperature for buah-buahan, how many Celsius? Temperature for meats, how many Celsius? According to the requirement by the customer. Kalau dia transport atas lori, so we have to prepare the refrigerator containers. Refrigerator containers, right? And then after that, we have these handing over goods and so on, proper driver reports and also billing. And this one is actually the transport halal model. As I said, you cannot find this from other books as well, because we experience on that on the ground. So these are the things need to be done by the person in charge with halal transportation. So one of these days, maybe you can use this model or you do initial checking, preparation. When you have order or you work on the transport company, we should actually dealing with halal transport from time to time. It's very useful, Okay, halal transport model. And then the characteristic of material of halal. Dia ada vehicle, ada karakteristik Vehicle mesti clean, mesti check, mesti orang kata enough to sustain the weight, clean. and then need to be approved by Sharia law lah, JAKIM. And then we have to come up with safety and halal policies, safety policies for the company. Halal policies from JAKIM, our safety and halal policies from our company. Yeah, maybe the company will come up the additional policies on halal, also can. Safety policies on halal also can put. Jadi banyak polisi pun tak apa. Yeah. Alright, this one policy from JAKIM, this one policy from company, this one policy safety from company. All those things to make sure that during the movement there is no hassle, no complaint in future by the customer lah. Because we got standard procedure set, yeah, system that use, yeah, to transport halal goods. Yeah. Number B, dikata number 2, material support, pelletize everything, the game as required from time to time. Pelletize, kalau pelletize, we need warehouse, we need people, the buruh handling this, contractors handling it to do loading and unloading the container and so on and so forth. Also good. Alright, and then to be checked, need to be checked from alerts. And then orang yang kerja situ pun macam awam, orang awam, contractor, sometimes he assign construct contractor, need to be understood on the requirement of halal product, bukan main cincai saja. Especially during the packaging, stuffing, handover cargo in the warehouse, yeah. These are actually according to the JAKIM lah, yeah. Number 3, number 4, number 3, halal good and cargoes, dia ada logo. Kalau you dealing with customer will advise you this one is halal. Dia ada logo halal. Kalau daripada overseas, also approved by JAKIM also lah. This one from Australia, this one from China, this one from India, and so on. So you are actually the thing. You are actually the moving part of it. You have to take into consideration also. And then number 4, the packaging, parcel packaging, containerized requirement, and so on. Yeah. So in order to ensure the security of the good container transport of halal goods, RIF di seal. Mesti latestnya, mesti ada seal lah. Kalau report seal lah. Kalau kata tempered or broken, you have to inform the customer, right, regarding this. Especially import goods. Yeah. Okay, number 4, A, B, C, D, E. Warehousing dah beritahu tadi kan, need to be have cracking also there, refrigerator container also there, cold room also there, and then the expressions of the goods, in the container in the warehouse also there. Make sure that bebas from dog, animal, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And then at the same time, need to be clean lah. Need to be clean according to the MS 15200. Clean, bersih. Kalau perlu samak, mesti disamak lah. Kalau kita nak buat dalam jangka masa yang panjang, sama. Ya, management also macam tu juga. Product, check and so on. Parking place, route scheduling. Route scheduling ni according to the assignment that agreed upon lah. And then driver also know how to use the routes without to avoid accident dan sebagainya. Stuffing and unstuffing ni packing in the warehouse, and then the process need to follow the standard operating procedure lah by the JAKIM and company. And then people need to be trained regardless you driver or non-driver, you are actually dealing with halal transport, so you have to be trained also. At least 1 or 2 week training regarding the halal procedures. From time to time, you have to make yourself current in knowledge lah. Any information came from JAKIM, you have to adhere, you have to follow, you have to practice, and you have to extend the knowledge to the various staff and also drivers. So what else? Dia kata knowledge, knowledge ni from time to time need to be current lah. Knowledge in halal transport, halal product. For example, non-Muslim, you have to understand the halal requirement by Muslim. So you have to understand other party also, other language, regarding the preparation of the halal foods to make sure that you are not lost in future customer. If you've done anything wrong, for example, those things got bread company, Sadekat Roti, dia telah menjalankan aktiviti yang tidak bagus. Jadi company berkenaan telah dipenalize oleh public. So what happened? Okay. People don't want to buy. We don't want to be like that. For non-Muslim, we want to handle the Muslim product actually on the foods, halal food. You can follow the procedure, you can handle, but you have to follow the procedure as such. So that means at one time you can maintain the customer lah. Even you are non-Muslim transporter, non-Muslim seller, also Muslim can buy. So must get the endorsement by Jakim. There must be people Muslim working there. Monitoring is Muslim. All these things. Yeah, the good thing we are actually emphasizing on the safety and security and the cleans of the goods, especially for the Muslim. Yang jual tu regardless whether you Muslim or non-Muslim can, but you have to follow the process. And halal terminal is normally ada modes lah. Roads terminal, rail terminal, air terminal. They got compartment on halal, especially in the warehouse. And then when you air transport, they got compartment. If you actually transported halal, they ada separate lah compartment for halal. Even though you fly that thing also, you got separate. Okay. Yang ini adalah gambar yang biasa kita tengok lah. The small one. Before the operational activities dealing with halal goods in the company. There are the container, there are the warehouse, there are the people, there are the logo, you can see, There are the stuffing, unstuffing, there are the people, there are the forklift, there are the racking there. All these things are actually involved in the transport. In other mode also, we are dealing with warehousing, also dealing with a halal product, also like these activities. They are actually dealing activities like this. And then they got drivers there, and so on. They got machinery, and so on involved. Okay. Alright. And then kalau pergi airport, for example, air transport, they got thing, macam tu, they seal. Halal lah. Halal. Kalau we cannot dedicated alone halal and non-halal because the compartment is very limited, kan? So at least we wrap it. This one is halal. So we cannot orang kata stop them from transporting non-halal together, but we have for halal product need to be wrapped accordingly lah. And then put logo there. This one is halal. You cannot see the logo here, but at the back there you can see lah the logo. Alright. Kalau terminal using pipeline pula, normally they are from terminal to terminal. They check. The one is normally transport oil lah. Minyak makan, cooking oil, chemical yang buat sabun dan sebagainya. This is tepung, grains, flour, and so on. Flour, so on using this. Kalau dia transport diesel or petrol, tak payah halal lah. That one is not food, right? But kalau food, it have at least acceptable requirement by the JAKI. Okay, I think that's all for 1 hour communications. Anything? 1 hour, now 11. Any questions so far? And then for those who just in, to make sure that our final, this one is the final of our class, no class anymore after this. I give you ample time to rest, about 1 or 2 week time. By early of February or middle, before this one lah, before middle of January, I'm going to send you the question letter, take home examination. Will take about 1 week time, So you have to answer it, As soon as you finish, you just post to me together with your assignment. Make it in one booklet, one comb, so everybody in one comb of assignment. Yeah, one comb of assignment. You just separate it. And the first one is your final examination, and followed by your assignment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, all together there. So you have to write it accordingly, put in the paper, and send it to the address given in the front page of your examination punya, booklets. Yeah. So other than that, I think that's all for today and this class. Yeah. Uh, any question tak? Any question? If no question, I would like to apologize for shortcoming lah. Yeah. Mungkin saya buat